to South Jersey Gas. The mayor and I had the opportunity to go to a mayor's breakfast series on Friday, June 19th, with South Jersey Gas. They invited all of the mayors from most of the Cape May County. Actually, they invited everybody from Cape May County, but primarily the shore communities who are going through a lot of upgrades right now were in attendance. It was very, very informative, very productive meeting. According to South Jersey Gas, by the end of June, all the low-pressure gas mains and services in Cape May County will have been replaced with the high pressure. So we're in July now, so that project should be finished. The current projects in Cape May, what they've done in Stone Harbor so far is 544 services, 6.5 miles of main have been replaced. They started early in February, and final restorations are occurring now. And the roads that they have not put the final base on, they will be back in the fall to do that. They have scheduled for the fall of this year into early spring of next year an additional upgrade of 696 services, which is 4.7 miles of main replacement. And like I said, that'll begin in the fall. They also told us how they are trying to do with their pre-construction meetings, coordinating with the municipalities. And I can say over the last year and a half, we've been pushing the utilities to meet with us to coordinate, and I've seen a significant improvement in how they've been receptive to changing some of their projects to coordinate with some of the things that we had on the book. So I think that's working well. So by the time they're done, all of their projects, they will be in areas that were scheduled for repair. So I think that's a positive for us. They also talked to us about some energy efficiency financing incentives that they have for property owners. We're going to take that information and we'll put it onto our website, and we'll also send it out as to the SHPOA so they can send it out to the property owners for things that they can do for financing programs for projects up to $10,000. They have other ones for HVAC conversions for up to $8,000. They also have commercial financing incentives. So like I said, all this information, we will put that out there for our property owners. They've also agreed to participate in our Green Fair. They will have some incentives for information for residents at the Green Fair, and they typically have some giveaways for the residents too. They also talked about the BL England project update, their Cape Atlantic reliability pipeline. It's a $115 million investment. It's repowering their existing coal-fired plant with a natural gas, and they feel that this enhanced the reliability for 142,000 plus residents and the businesses. And like I said, I think it was a very productive meeting. We were able to meet with some of the other communities that have upgrades. We did have take the opportunity to have a conversation with South Jersey Gas to test how they felt about road moratoriums and how that would affect them. They did mention, they did research it, that there's no community out there that they're aware of that is greater than 5. They still have communities that are at 2 years. They did kind of.
That Summit's 7.
There was one that they felt that they thought was at 8, and then when they researched it, they found out that was rescinded. So they were only at the 5. I think that was Northfield. So right now in this area, the maximum is 5 years. We did tell them that we were looking at the 10, and they were a little concerned with that. They did feel that 7 would be reasonable. So.
Everybody we said it to made the same face.
It's an emergency.
Every single one of them. They would call another guy over and say, Stone Harbor's thinking of a 10-year moratorium, and that person would go,
so.
They all made the
But
face.
rather be
We'll
talked
discuss
about
that
than
further when
forgotten.
Mark's here and we know the number of emergencies and things like that, but I just wanted to share that with you.
And we also talked to them about a refueling station for compressed natural gas. And I did bring that up at the South Jersey Economic Development meeting that I attended, and possibly having a refuel station put at the airport. And Will Morey was there, so I kind of put it in his ear, and they liked the idea. So it just was kind of put out to them that Cape May County could use a refueling station. So,
Sorry. No, I'll get another.
yeah, so that, and Charles, utilities, what,
So,
Ace.
really two things to report. The power outage that we all experienced in last week was due to a snake, believe it or not, climbing up a transformer in Cape May Courthouse area. Ronnie Town of Atlantic City Electric informed us of that, so unique situation, but I think they did a good job in restoring power in a fairly short amount of time. She did inform us of what really takes place, some of the behind-the-scenes things that take place in transferring power from different locations to restore power here and how that operates. It was pretty fascinating. But I think it sounds like they're doing a really good job of trying to update people, and as things develop, they will extend or adjust the time for that particular outage based on circumstances. So I was pleased with them notifying us of the process, procedure, and the specific events that took place regarding that outage. The other item is that I think, and it was on here on our work session, is that we've come to a final format for implementing temporary water meter sets. I think this is going to alleviate stealing of water from properties that are adjacent to construction sites. In fact, I think there was a property that was recently cited with doing that.
was there?
In fact, I think there might have been two. Is there two projects that we ran into this on now?
This will be the second one that I'm
The
aware of.
second
yeah.
one. So we're going to eliminate that. Not that there's any excuse at this point in time for doing that, but when this is in place, there's certainly no excuse, because it's a $145 procedure or permit fee to have this done, have the temporary water meter set. So I think we have everything in place now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jill, so that
Yeah,
this can
the
be.
forms have all been finalized, been given to all the departments involved. We're able to incorporate into our existing ordinance, so there's no ordinance amendment. The fee it's $145. Ray had mentioned that we added an additional form, because one of Grant's concerns was that not knowing when they switched over to the permanent meter, by simply sending this fax to Public Works for them to review it, construction will not issue a CO until it's been determined that Public Works Utilities has had the ability to inspect the current service, make sure that there doesn't need to be an upgrade, and that the new meter and everything is hooked up properly. So I think that's closing a big gap that was a lot of concern for the utility
Right, so
department.
no CO will issue until there isn't permanent
Yeah.
meter set. They can't just connect to the
No.
temporary meter and then say,
And go.
fine, we'll get our
Yeah.
CO. And I just have to say, I was also really pleased with Ray's involvement and willingness to understand really a lot of different facets of the borough
Yeah.
that go, I think, above and beyond what his, job description really is. So
Oh,
I
good.
think
Good to
he's
hear.
an awesome addition.
Good, good. Anything else?
No,
That's it?
not for me.
Anybody, anything else?
Can I use the last minute?
Sure.
Oh, I
Actually,
want
have a
one,
couple. We
too.
got 5.
I want
No,
30 seconds.
This is we're looking to formalize the work session meetings, and this is something I meant to bring up for months, and it keeps slipping my mind, because we've been doing it. The work sessions, I think, council started in September, I think was when you started doing them. And since I've been part of it, we've always allowed anyone, any of the public to, make a comment if they've got something to add to our discussions. And hopefully, we're going to let that continue. I think we will, and
I personally don't have a problem with it. I welcome it, and it's
Yeah.
always going to be based on a time factor. I did, at
Right.
the last meeting, have to say, I'm sorry, I can't hear from you now because we're running out of time, but that doesn't stop anybody from coming up at the public portion of the council meeting and voicing whatever it is they wanted to
Right.
say. So it just is a matter of kind of containing it.
so, yeah, as
Really.
long as it doesn't become an issue, I think we should keep allowing that. I mean, if we're having a
As long,
discussion.
right,
about
and I'll
an
continue to
issue-
do it as long as I can keep it under control.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the most part, we're in almost a full year. September will be a full
We
year
haven't
of
had
it,
a
and
problem.
no, the occasional having somebody have something worthwhile to say, I think I support the whole idea, yes. If anybody else wants to chime in, but just under control, as long as when I tell somebody, I'm sorry, we don't have time, they don't get too affronted.
I agree, I encourage
Yeah.
it, I think
Yeah.
it's great.
And I would say the only time it might be hard is if this room is full of people. you
Right.
know. And there's not another seat
Right.
out there. You
Right.
might not be able to do that, but, I mean, anybody out here's all along have been asking questions.
But again, they have the public portion of the
Yeah.
regular
Yeah.
meeting too.
Yeah,
To be able to
Time-
say, let me
time does
talk
not-
about what I heard
Sure.
you say.
yeah.
This is totally off the agenda, but,
Wow.
yeah, I know.
Is it permitted?
Is it permitted, Madam President? Wait, I'm going to
I
keep
just
score.
want you to know that our new library is seen between 250 and 300 people a day.
Wow.
They had
Really?
3 days last week, excuse me, where they had 300 people in there. And she said most of the time it's 250.
Excellent.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is, that's neat.
Yeah, it's good news. Yep. All right, anybody else want to use the last minute? Okay, well, actually then, motion to, somebody say something? All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.